Hello. As you can see, maybe if you saw my status, today is my D-Day, my diagnosis day, the day I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes 2 years ago, December 7th, 2008. And I thought I would post a little video, try something new, about my diabetes and maybe a little my story behind it all. Oops. Um, so I was diagnosed obviously on December 7, 2008, and when I first found out before I found out I was having a bunch of symptoms. I was drinking a lot of juice, Gatorade, eating lots of junk food like cookies, brownies, a whole bunch of sugary stuff I shouldn't be eating, and I was losing lots of weight, and I was going to the bathroom all the time, like 3 or 4 times an hour, and yeah. So I was getting kind of tired of that. I'm like, Mom, I'm going to the bathroom all the time. Like, what's wrong with me? And we thought I had like a bladder infection or something, but obviously that wasn't the case. But so my my mom was talking to my dad about it, and my dad said to my mom 2 years ago today, early in the morning, like while I was asleep, to look up type 1 diabetes, and my mom's like, no, she can't have diabetes, and my dad's like, just look it up. And so she looked it up, and it had all the symptoms except I didn't know I had blurry vision, but I did until I actually took a test, an eye test. Anyway, so it was probably about maybe 6 or 7 in the morning when my mom woke me up, and I was just starting to put on, like brush my teeth and stuff like that. My mom was like, Cassie, you have type 1 diabetes. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm like half asleep, so I have no idea what's even going on. I'm like, what's type 1 diabetes? Like, what are you even talking about? And so, she's kind of freaking out, and I'm like, okay, what? I don't even know what you're talking about. So, it was a Sunday morning, and I know you're not supposed to, well, we shouldn't buy things on Sunday. However, wanted to check my blood sugar, so we went and bought an Accu-Check to check my blood sugar, and my dad checked it, and it was about 400. And then I didn't know when a good or a bad sugar, what blood sugar was. So I'm asking my dad, like, Dad, is that good? Is that bad? Like, do I have diabetes? And he doesn't even say anything. He calls a brother, Dr. Barton, on the phone and says, I have a diabetic daughter, type 1. And, I'm like, okay, I guess I have type 1 diabetes. Like, what do I do? Like, is it going to kill me? Like, am I going to die from it? Like, what do I do? Do I have to eat differently? And I had no idea what I had to do. So, we went to church, and throughout sacrament meeting, me, my mom and dad, and Brother Barton were in the kitchen, and Brother Barton was just explaining to me what I had to do, and then he told me I had to give myself insulin shots. And I'm like, shots? I never ever in my life had a shot until that day, and I was freaking out. Even though the needle was just like this big, I was so scared. And so I wasn't really scared about the whole diabetes part. I was scared about the shots. And so I was freaking out. I was about to cry because I did not want a shot. And so my dad has to give me an insulin shot because my blood sugar is like 400, probably even higher since I ate breakfast. Even though it was a low-carb breakfast, my blood sugar was still kind of go up. So I like roll up my sleeve, and I'm like so scared. I'm like shaking. I'm like, just do it fast. And so he gives me a shot, and I didn't really even feel anything. I'm like, oh, that's it. Okay, that's cool. So, he's explained to me everything. Brother Barnes explained to me everything I have to do. It's just kind of like going over my head. I'm like, okay, what is he even talking about? Like, this is just so much information. I'm like freaking out, overwhelmed. I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do. So my dad just basically explained it to me later that day when we were going up to Vegas for my baby cousin's blessing in Boulder City, I think. And then after, when we were up in Boulder, after the sacrament meeting, since my entire family was there, my mom's side of the family, we went to a different room, and they gave me a blessing that I will be able to take care of my diabetes and do well, and that's the first time I really got scared, and I actually, that's the first time I cried about it. That was really scary for me. My dad couldn't do it. He was crying way too hard, so my grandpa gave me the blessing, and I'm so grateful that he did. It was pretty awesome, and so now, obviously, I'm doing pretty well. That's my whole story about type 1 diabetes, I guess. I've only had a couple breakdowns about it. You know, every once in a while I'll get really mad and upset and want to punch someone in the face because I don't want to deal with it anymore. And but you know, that's maybe only once in a while. So yeah. So that's my story behind my experience with diabetes. I've never been hospitalized or anything. The highest blood sugar I've ever had is probably 500 and something, maybe 570 or 550, I don't know, something like that. And my lowest, I think, was 25. It's not very good. I don't ever recommend going that high or that low. So it's, and also when my blood sugar is high, I get really angry, I get very upset, annoyed, and that's just when I want to strangle something. I know this sounds really weird, but I always want to like strangle like a cute little bunny. I don't know why, but I do. I just want to hold like a rabbit. But when my blood sugar is low, I'm shaky, I'm sweaty, I'm like I feel kind of sick, and I get this weird feeling inside me. I always know when my blood sugar is low. And so I'm always craving peanut butter, and unfortunately peanut butter isn't a ton of carbs, so I always have cereal, and then I'll just eat a whole bunch of peanut butter because cereal has a lot more carbs and it'll bring up my blood sugar. So, yeah, that's Cassie and diabetes right there, so I hope you enjoyed my story about my diabetes life, so happy D-Day to Cassie, and I'll see you all later.